Would you please welcome Martin Grunstein?
Thank you. Thank you kindly. Thank you. There was a hairdresser in a small US country town charging $25 for haircuts, making a killing. Never had a competitor in his life. For the first time ever, a salon opened directly across the road with a big sign in its window saying $6 haircuts, and the first guy's in trouble. He says, if I keep my price at $25, I'm going to lose a lot of my customers for these $6 haircuts and I may not get them back. But if I drop my price to $6, I can drive this guy out of business, but I'll go broke myself. I can't take $19 off my margin. Forget the price difference, forget the industry. I think in this country, most people believe you either match the price or lose the sale, which is rubbish. What this guy did that was outstandingly successful that we can learn from was he kept his price at $25 and he put a big sign in his own window that said, "We fix $6 haircuts." And that's what you guys do for a living. And that's really the thrust of what I want to talk about this evening, about how we can get advantage over Coles and Woolies and other competitors out there by looking at the people side and personal side of what we do. Just a matter of interest. How many people here are married? Can I just have a show of hands? How many people are married? Okay. So you're familiar with an argument, right? Now, what most people don't fully understand is why we argue. We don't argue to establish a compromise. The reason we argue is to make the other person feel bad. The married people know what I'm talking about. So you're going hammer and tongs to think of a one-liner to make your partner feel about this big, and the argument gets all head up and you never get across what you wanted to say. And probably the most frustrating experience known to mankind is that 2 hours later or in the middle of the night you think of the best one-liner you have ever heard of in your life that didn't come in the argument. And the way I want to approach motivation or attitude to business or whatever you want to call it, it's not rah-rah, do it for the footy coach, get out there and do it for the boss, that's all. Motivation, as I see it, is nothing more than using the talents you already possess, your creativity, your ability to think of the one-liner, your memory, your ability to recall the customer's name when you're talking to them rather than when they walk away. It's using those talents under pressure, so that we think of the right thing to say when we are in the customer service or staff management situation, rather than going back to the boss and saying, damn it, why didn't I handle it differently? And what I want to have a look at in the short time we got together tonight is not doing a rah-rah, be the best you can be session. What I want to have a look at is how pressure affects us, because it's pressure that causes us to forget the name of the one-liner. I also put it to you, the pressure you face in the course of your business is no different from what a professional golfer faces in the fourth round of a tournament. I want to have a look at how consumers make purchase decisions, how that's in fact different in the current economic environment, and what we can do to modify our sales and marketing without spending an arm and a leg to make a buck out there in the marketplace. And the way I'd like to do that initially is the same as I would with a professional sporting organisation. I want to have a look at the relationship between mind and body under pressure. Now, the part of your mind you're working on, want to work with, is your subconscious mind. That contains your memory, imagination, awareness, all the things that make you a brilliant individual. The other part of your mind is your conscious mind, your reason and logic. Now, rather than lecture this at you, let me do a quick demonstration and show you what I mean. I'd like, if you wouldn't mind, just uncross your arms and legs and close your eyes. I'm going to get you to use your imagination, right? I promise your wallets will be there when you open your eyes. It's not that type of presentation. Brilliant. Now, I want you to imagine you're about to watch a match on the centre court at Wimbledon. Just get that picture in your mind if you can. If you're doing it properly, it should be a tennis match, right? That's a good start. You're looking down on centre court, there's a great atmosphere in the crowd, and you see the players at opposite ends of the court, and the umpire calls for play to begin. And player A serves to player B, who returns, and the ball goes back and forth and back. Okay, open your eyes, look at me. Able to get an image of that in your mind? Just grunt if you can, I need feedback. Thank you. How many people had this experience, and it is normal psychological stuff, and I promise you tonight I'm not going to pull anyone out the front and make a goose of them, so please relax and feel free to work with me. How many people, as I described the ball going back and forth, actually felt their eyes physically move back and forth in the sockets? Can I have a show of hands? It's normal psychological stuff. Thank you. How many people, as I described player A and B, actually saw players, images of players, or famous players? How many got images of players in their mind? Now, keep your hand up if you saw famous players, right? If you saw yourself, you can go now, right? That's as far as we need to get with this presentation. But on the off chance you didn't, who said they saw famous players? Just want to see who we got. Do you mind if I ask you, ma'am, who you saw when you were doing that? Leighton Hewitt. Sir, do you recall who you saw? Yeah, it doesn't matter who you saw. I've been doing this for quite a period of time, and I can now see Maria Sharapova. And she's at both ends of the court. And she's naked. Anyway, a couple of people might have been to Wimbledon before, that's fine. But even if you haven't, you're able to get an image of it in your mind. Some people went as far as to feel their eyes moved back and forth in the sockets following a ball that wasn't there, just a suggestion I gave. Others went one step further, and I described player A and B, and people saw players, images of players, famous players, when all I said was player A and B. And the reason is, the part of your mind you're using then, your subconscious mind, can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Because that's the part of your mind that determines whether you stuff up the golf shot, if you make a goose of yourself yelling at your kids, or whether we go to pieces under the perceived pressure of a selling or staff management situation.